You're listening to Straight from the Hat with Ben Vaughn.
Every day starts with a broken heart. I must be too sensitive for this world. Well, I know it ain't right to cry every night. I must be too sensitive for this world.
He's had a career filled with twists and turns as a performer, songwriter, composer for film and TV, and record producer. For Ben Vaughn, the best part of the journey has been the colorful characters he's encountered along the way. His friend Laura Pocadello, who works for Sun Records in Nashville, wrote the names of those characters down and placed them in a hat. Each episode, she'll select names at random and let Ben relive the stories. No pre-planning, no filter. Just telling it like it was. Straight from the hat.
Hello, Laura.
Hello, Ben.
How are you down there in Music City, USA?
Well, I'm doing great, and I'm feeling very special because I'm talking to a Jeopardy clue. You were on Jeopardy.
I was, and it was a total surprise. My phone started blowing up, and I thought, uh-oh, who died? And it turned out no one did, luckily. And I am more alive than I was. So I exist in the culture in a way that is a small step above where I was, I guess.
That's right. A nerd urgently asked, who is Vaughn, to put some points on the board. That's such a thrill.
Yeah, it was great. I got a lot of attention for that. It was really cool.
That's awesome. Well, let's see who comes out of the hat today, who we're going to talk about first. Reaching in here. Oh, another well-loved, not controversial figure here. Jerry Lee Lewis.
Jerry Lee. Andy Paley produced a record by Jerry Lee called Youngblood, I think it was called. Maybe.
From the 90s, right?
Yeah, 94, maybe, 93, around there.
Yeah.
And Jerry Lee was playing at the Hollywood Palace, right across from Capitol Records. And I was visiting L.A. I wasn't living in L.A. yet. And Andy invited me, put me on a guest list, and invited me to the show. And Jerry Lee was great that night, except that he played Chantilly Lace 3 times in a row and didn't seem to realize he had done that. But
or he knew and just didn't care.
It was like, Chantilly Lace, and it kept speeding up. Like by the end, it would start at a reasonable tempo, and by the end, it was like, oh, baby, that's what I like. The band couldn't even keep up with him. It was crazy. It was really weird. And afterwards, Andy came and found me. And we went backstage, and at the Hollywood Palace, there's this spiral staircase that goes up to the headliner's dressing room. So we go up there, and there's Jerry Lee sitting on top of a table with his feet on a chair, and he's got a knife in his hand, and he's picking something out of the heel of his boot.
Okay.
And Andy brings me up and says, hey, Jerry, I want you to meet Ben Vaughn. I really want you to meet this guy. He's a big fan, and you guys should know each other. And Jerry Lee puts the knife down and looks at me with these eyes that had no pupils. I mean, they were black. They were like pieces of black coal. And he takes my hand in his and goes, I'm really glad to meet you, killer. And starts squeezing my hand and squeezing it and wouldn't let go. And to the point where I thought he was going to break my hand. So I pulled away. And he laughed and goes, ha ha, gotcha, killer. And I was like, I'm going to go downstairs. I got some people down there I want to hang out with. Great meeting you.
It's been real, Jerry Lee.
Yeah,
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I also love that he called you killer, too.
Yeah. It was like he called everybody killer, just like Waylon Jennings called everybody hoss.
Right.
Because I was working with Waylon at the end of Waylon's life. We were going to record a record of Bob Dylan love songs with Waylon, so I got to know Waylon at the end, and he would leave these messages on my machine. Hey, Hoss, it's Waylon. It was great. I wish I had saved them. But yeah, these guys, they were known as Hoss or Killer, but they called everybody that, so it was just an ongoing circular nickname that got thrown around. But I have a really great memory. Hamburger Dan, a friend of mine, also known as Dan Montgomery, a singer-songwriter from Memphis. And
he's a great musician, too.
Oh, really great musician. Really, really great. We met up in Houston. I don't know how that happened, but I was driving, and we were going to drive from Houston to Memphis together. And on the way, we saw a sign that said Ferriday, Louisiana, 10 miles, because we were taking a bunch of back roads.
Spot.
Yeah, we were taking a bunch of back roads because we had time to kill. And we looked at each other and go, let's find Jerry Lee's home, where he grew up, his childhood home. And boy, Ferriday knows that people are going to come there looking for that, because his sister, I think her name was Frankie Jean, older sister.
Not Linda Gale.
Not Linda Gale, no. Frankie Jean, she turned the childhood home into the Jerry Lee Lewis Family Museum. So
nice.
we pull into town, and the first person we ask says, oh, yeah, just go down to that drive-through liquor barn down there and let them know that you want to.
Which is like the city hall of Ferriday.
Yeah. Well, it's actually owned by Frankie Jean, and it's next to the childhood home. So you go to the drive-in liquor barn, and I think we had to buy something.
Sure.
And,
makes sense.
And they called over to the house, and they told us, yeah, Frankie Jean says, in 5 minutes you can go over. And then all of a sudden, all the power goes out. And it was one of those days in the South. You know these days because you live in Nashville. Like when it's going to rain in the summer, the sky gets dark like it's nighttime right before it happens.
Yeah.
And it's really like a unique feeling. And then the power goes out. So it's in the afternoon, and the power goes out, and you wouldn't think that would be a problem because you don't need lights in the afternoon, except the sky is black. So it's
the world's ending or something, yeah.
That's what it feels like. So we're sitting in this liquor barn for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour.
Sheltering.
All of a sudden the power comes back on, and Frankie Jean shows up, and she really looked like a female version of Jerry Lee. She really did. The same exact face. And she had this long red hair, kind of rippling, And she takes us over to the house, and millions of photos of Jerry Lee throughout his career all over the place. We're going upstairs, downstairs, all over the place. And there was one wall of Tab Hunter photos, nothing but Tab Hunter photos.
Why? Do you know?
I have no idea. Maybe Frankie Jean had a crush on him. That was her guy. I don't know.
She got one spot of the wall, and she said, I know what to do with this.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, she's running the place.
Let her have her Tab Hunter photos. I don't know.
Well, that's the other thing, too, is you could only donate $20. Nothing more than $20. She had a box there, and nothing more than $20. So she was doing this.
Were you wanting to give more than $20?
I pulled out a $50 bill, and she said, nope, you're going to have to go to the liquor barn and get change for that. And then Frankie Jean points to a bedroom and says, see that bed? That's the bed that Jerry Lee was conceived on.
Oh, I don't like that.
The air suddenly got cold at that moment. Like, wow, Satan's birthplace. What do you know? And then at one point she says, hey, you want to see the guns? And we're like, yeah.
Yes.
And she took us into this room. So many guns. Pistols, rifles, shotguns. I mean, it was unbelievable, the amount of guns in there. And I don't know if they were Jerry Lee's or hers or what happened.
The families.
The family, yeah. It's the family museum. Then she takes us to this closet. And in the closet, there are a bunch of wedding gowns and various fancy dresses. And she pulls out one and goes, this is Linda Gale's here. This is her wedding gown. And then puts it back on. And then she pulls one out and holds it up. And she goes, this is Bonnie Lee Bakley's dress. Now, Bonnie Lee Bakley is the woman who was married to Robert Blake and who was murdered in her car.
Okay.
She, at one point, befriended Jerry Lee, at one point claimed that she was the mother of his child and was a good friend of Linda Gale Lewis. And Dan and I are standing there, and she's showing us this dress, and I said, yeah, it's really a shame what happened to her. And she goes, she ain't dead. Everybody has a twin.
Oh.
Now, I felt Dan looking at me, And he felt me looking at him, but that didn't actually happen. We just felt it.
There was some sort of communication, yeah.
And then the power went out again, and we're like, okay, time to leave. We got out of there, and we left Ferriday.
You were in like a Flannery O'Connor novel down there.
Yeah, like that song, Leaving Louisiana in Broad Daylight. We were leaving with a black sky behind us, heading to
Memphis. A trail of dust.
Yeah, heading to Memphis as quick as we could. Jerry Lee, trouble found that guy wherever he was.
I'll say everybody has a twin, but I'm not sure Jerry Lee did.
I hope not.
No.
One was enough. Jerry Lee Lewis.
All right, headed into the hat here. Let's see who comes out. And as a reminder, I have no idea who I'm about to pull, and you have no idea who's about to come out of this hat. You ready?
I am ready.
Oh, you'll like this one. They're some hometown guys. Here's Gamble and Huff.
Gamble and Huff. Wow. Oh, I love it. I'm glad that's in there. Gamble and Huff. Those guys never refer to each other by their first names. They always say, hey, Gamble, what's that, Huff? And they never talk to each other any other way. There's a really great interview on Fresh Air with Terry Gross where they do that, and it's really funny if you can find it. It's not a funny interview, but just the way they react to each other and talk to each other is really cool. Leon Huff is from Camden. Actually, he grew up about 3 miles from where I grew up. I was in the next town over, but we always knew what street it was where he grew up, and we would go by there and say, Leon Huff grew up there. It was, I think it's Milford Street or Mulford Street, which is now known as Leon Huff Way.
There you go. Okay, so he got his street named after him. That's the big time. He
did, yeah. And Gamble and Huff, I guess my first experience with those guys, I met Leon Huff and hung out with him at a Jerry Blavitt Geeter with the Heater record hop at the Jersey Shore, actually. And it was really cool to be hanging with Leon Huff. I haven't met Kenny Gamble, but he's around all the time. You see him walking around town. He walked into my friend Eddie's record store recently and pulled out an Archie Bell and a Drells album and said, hey, this is one of my records. And Eddie says, are you Archie Bell? And he goes, no. I'm Kenny Gamble. But my first exposure to them was Expressway to Your Heart by the Soul Survivors. That was the first hit that Gamble and Huff ever had as songwriters and producers. And
what a good hit, too.
Oh, my God. It's amazing. And the Soul Survivors were white. They were a white group and a really exciting live act. But what Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff did, you could tell that they were listening to pop radio because that one section in the middle is a total homage to Summer in the City by Love and Spoonful. Ding, 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 with the car noises and everything. That's It's an amazing record on so many levels. It has a riff that is unbeatable, that riff.
What year was that?
That would have been 1967. I remember it well because I used to hang out at this record store on 10th and Chestnut in Philly called Record Museum. And the Geeter had something to do with it. But in the back room was the office and warehouse for Lost Night Records, which was an oldies label that the Geeter started with the owners of Record Museum. So there was all this action going on in that store. It was a really cool place to hang out. I would just hang out there all day. And it would be playing all the latest 45s behind the counter. And I was there, I don't know if it was the day that Expressway came out, but it was the week it came out. I know that much. And they were very excited about it because it was on their own label. Lost Night Records had a subsidiary called Crimson Records, and they released Expressway, and it went to like number 3. It was huge. That record was huge.
That's not nothing, yeah.
No, so that was my first exposure. It was like, wow, a hit record came out of a building that I'm familiar with. It was, as a local guy, that's pretty exciting.
Oh, yeah. And to hear it on the radio all the time, too, because wasn't it a big regional hit in Philly?
Oh, it went to number 1 in Philly, yeah. And it was on forever. I mean, you still hear it every day, And it was written the year that the Schuylkill Expressway opened. And the Schuylkill Expressway in Philly immediately was a disaster. You were stuck in traffic. It was supposed to make everything go better, and immediately it was like, oh, the Schuylkill. The nickname is the Sure Kill Expressway because people will get out of their cars and kill each other. And Kenny Gamble was stuck in traffic, and he came up with the idea for that song, Stuck in Traffic on the brand new Schuylkill Expressway. What's interesting is the stuff that Gamble and Huff were doing in Philly before that and after that, before Philly International Records, and they got really big with Teddy Pendergrass and the OJs and everything.
Right.
They were putting out some really cool 45s, Cowboys to Girls by The Intruders, and they produced that amazing Jerry Butler stuff, Only the Strong Survive.
I love Jerry Butler.
Yeah, Never Gonna Give You Up. They were all cut in Philly, and they were co-written. Gamble, Huff, and Jerry Butler co-wrote those tunes. And when I met Dan Penn, the legendary Dan Penn, Muscle Shoals songwriter, when he found out where I was from, he goes, oh, man, those are the records we listened to. That's the stuff that we were listening to. That stuff coming out of Philly was like major. And when you hear those Jerry Butler records, you can really hear that influence, especially Only the Strong Survive had on Memphis music. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say some shared influence there too. Philly soul is such a polished version of soul music in a great way. Memphis is the opposite, but it's great that they were listening to each other.
But the rhythm section and stuff was still tough. That was the beauty. They put the sweetening on top, but you could dance. Well, disco was invented in Philly. Earl Young was the house drummer on all that stuff, and he basically invented the disco beat. And he's still out there at age, I think, 84. Go to
still going.
Yeah, go to Facebook. You'll see him playing drums, and he was in the Tramps. And he jumps out from behind a kit and sings bass, and he's in his 80s. But he played drums on all that stuff. I mean, he was also on The Horse by Cliff Nobles and all these amazing records. And Gamble and Huff used him on everything. And it was all done at this studio called Sigma Sound. When I was a delivery truck driver in Philadelphia, I worked for this printing company, and I had to deliver packages to Sigma Sound, and I would get very excited, because you go in there, and in the lobby there are gold records everywhere, and they would sign for whatever I was delivering, and I would leave, but I always wanted to stay and get in that room,
Oh, totally.
I eventually did get in that room later on in life, and what I remember about it is that Leon Huff's piano, grand piano, facing a wall, but he had a mirror on the piano so he could direct the musicians behind him.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and that mirror was still there for years. And Gamble and Huff also, they took over a building in Philly that was initially Cameo Parkway. Not only the offices for Cameo Parkway, but the recording studio.
That's hallowed ground.
309 South Broad Street was the address, and Gamble and Huff took that over. And I used to deliver printing to them too. And that job was nuts because, driving a delivery truck in Center City, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a city that was built for horse and carriage. So the streets are very narrow and a lot of cobblestone. And if you're racing through there in a delivery van and trying to make deliveries and make them all on time, you have to park on the sidewalk. You just pull up, park on the sidewalk, put the flashers on, open the back door, load everything onto a hand truck, go into a building, go up an elevator, drop it off, get it signed for, come back down, and by the time you got back down, there's a parking ticket on the windshield. So you grab that and you throw it in the glove box and you move on. That was the job.
That's the cost of doing business, yeah.
And every Monday, I would go down to traffic court and pay off all the tickets. And it was me and a bunch of other delivery truck drivers, like at 8 o'clock in the morning on Monday, hanging around. We all got to know each other. But the Gamble and Huff delivering stuff to them was always like, wow. I was just so amazed by those guys, intimidated too. Like I probably could have talked my way in and met them, and they might have been receptive to that. But I just remember that being a dream. There they were, these guys, very important in Philadelphia. And that building, the Cameo Parkway building, unfortunately caught on fire, and all of Gamble and Huff's archives were destroyed.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
And it caught on fire because Kenny Gamble, an amazing guy, he had a friend who was homeless. So he said, you can crash here, in the building at night in the winter,
Yeah.
And the guy accidentally fell asleep with a cigarette or something, and the place burnt down. Kenny Gamble's an amazing guy because the neighborhood where he grew up in, to keep it from getting rough, he bought almost all the properties. He says that he bought the barbershop so he could still get his hair cut.
He bought the block.
Yeah. He bought the barbershop because he'd been getting his hair cut there since he was a kid, and he didn't want that to change. And then he ended up buying the whole block. And to keep the drug dealers out, you would actually see Kenny Gamble walking around with a baseball bat.
He took it seriously. He didn't just buy it and stay away. He said, I'm on the streets too. He
took it totally seriously. Gamble and Huff, just amazing. The amount of records, we could put a couple up on the webpage. The earlier stuff before the big Philly International stuff, just incredible amount of music, and the stuff that they wrote and their style of producing and that house band at Sigma Sound, unbelievable.
They wrote some really incredible tracks, yeah, and it's really cool to hear the evolution of that sound too, especially if you're familiar with like the Teddy Pendergrasses of the world, like you're talking about starting in the mid-'60s. It's great to hear the whole world they built in Philly with that sound. Yeah,
and Teddy Pendergrass also plays a part in our Ween story because in preparation for making a country record in Nashville, Dean and Gene Ween listened to Teddy Pendergrass for the entire drive down.
Which is just Philadelphia culture, I guess,
Yeah.
All right, pulling another one from the hat, Ben. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. Reggie Young.
Reggie Young, one of the greatest studio guitar players of all time. Son of a preacher man, the electric sitar on Hooked on a Feeling and Cry Like a Baby. The list goes on. Memphis guy, part of the American Studios house band. And when I was teaching myself how to play lead guitar, I would listen to those records and try to copy Reggie's licks. So I really had a connection. There's something about the way he played and the way he compliments the singer on all that stuff and comes up with what you would call, a counter melody to move around the main melody. He was the master at the opening lick. That's him on Drift Away by Dobie Gray. It's him on the beginning of I Can Help by Billy Swan, that where which he told me was an exercise he would do to warm up. And Chip Young, the producer of that record, told me that he heard him warming up and goes, "That's our intro." And Reggie was like, "You're out of your mind."
He's like, "I'm just noodling around here, and that can't be it."
Yeah, and the guitar solo in that song, which is brilliant, that's Chip Young himself. So Reggie's only doing the intro, but it's the best intro you've ever heard. I mean, and it's weird too. Like, what? It doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the song. And that just to stay on I Can Help for 1 second, I worked with Chip Young, and he told me the story of how that was cut. Billy Swan was in Chris Christopherson's band, and the tour bus was waiting outside Young in Sound, which was Chip Young's studio at the time, while Billy was cutting that song. So they had to do it real quick because he was ready to hop in the bus and go on tour. So he's playing organ and singing live on that record. And halfway through the take, Chip Young's dog starts gnawing on Billy Swan's leg. So Swan. So when you listen to that record, imagine a guy singing and playing organ while he's trying to kick a dog away with his leg. And then Billy Swan, they overdubbed the guitar solo after he left, and when he heard it, he goes, "I hate that." And then it went to #1, and he started saying, "I love that." So
great song now.
Yeah, it's amazing. And also the version of "Don't Be Cruel" on that album is one of the greatest things I've ever heard, and I always liked it, but I was playing in France, and I came off stage after doing a gig, and the DJ put on that slow version of "Don't Be Cruel" really loud in this club in France, like a real bohemian, all black walls, and everybody's really hip. And "Don't Be Cruel," the slow version by Billy Swan, is just pounding in the room. Just such a powerful cool arrangement of that. But getting back to Reggie, I worked with him on the Arthur Alexander record. I got him and Gene Chrisman, the drummer from the American Studios band, and Mike Leach, the bass player on those records. And then I got Spooner Oldham and Dan Penn. And working with Reggie was really cool because everything that he played made the song better. Like, it just improved the minute he started finding his lick. And he hardly ever played chords. He was like a B.B. King kind of guy who he did fills more than he ever did chords. So I had a rhythm guitar player. I had Gary Nicholson in there playing electric rhythm. And there was one song that we were doing, and I was referencing, I'm a huge fan, so in my mind I had a bunch of guitar licks of Reggie's that are stuck in my brain, and I know what record they're from. And I mentioned True Love Travels on a Gravel Road by Elvis. And Reggie goes, man, I don't remember how that goes. Can you play it for me? And he hands me his Telecaster in front of everybody. In front of everybody. Goes, play it for me, will you? And I was like, ooh. So I did. And he goes, oh, man, that's great. I came up with that? That's really good. And he took the guitar back and played it, and it sounded a million times better than what I had just done. But it was a testament to how humble he was. You know, like he would hand his guitar to me and ask me to show him what I want. I thought that was one of the most, I don't know what you would call it, like authentic, guileless, really, approaches to making music. He did not have an ego at all. And then he invited me to go fishing with him, which my schedule didn't allow. Like Sinatra.
You didn't go?
Like Sinatra says, regrets, I've had a few. And
that's one of them.
That's it. I didn't go fishing with Reggie Young, and I look back now and I go, I should have canceled whatever it was I had going on.
Whatever you were doing was not that important. That's wild.
I blew it.
Into the hat we go. Reaching in. This is a good one. Freddie Cannon.
Freddie Cannon. Freddie Boom Boom Cannon. I've hung out with him. I never worked with him, but I really love that guy. His records, he is able to insert woo more times in one song than anybody in the history of music. Like really.
I mean, Little Richard would like a word, but yeah.
More often than Little Richard. It's just everywhere he can stick it, it's there, you know. And he's one of the most compelling performers I've ever seen. There's an edge to him, you know. He's a short, wiry guy and very, very determined performer. Like he's very confident up there. And the first time I saw him perform was unbelievable because it was some kind of oldies concert down on the river in Philadelphia. I forget who else was on the bill, but oldies acts. And then, you know, so he comes out, the Dovells go on, and they do their act, and the backup band stays up there for Freddie Cannon. So Freddie has never met these guys before. Mm-hmm. And there's a guy with a synthesizer, and the bass player is playing a 5-string bass. So Freddie Cannon, a rock and roll purist, walks on stage, and they start doing the act because apparently the band had been given advanced materials to learn.
Prep, yeah.
And they're playing a really, really like Atlantic City lounge act version of these songs. So halfway through the first song, Freddie goes, hold it, bring it down, just to the drums. And he says to the audience, do you want me to teach these guys how to play rock and roll? And the audience is like, and the audience is like, yeah. And he goes, I'm serious. You want me to teach these guys how to play rock and roll? And we're like, yeah, teach them. So he goes, okay. So he points to the drum. He goes, okay, just play that beat. No rolls, no fills, and don't hit all those tom-toms around there. Just keep it straight. Okay, sounding good. So, okay, Mr. Bass Player, you know that 5th string? Ignore it.
Doesn't exist.
Don't ever play it. Just go thump, thump like that. Okay. And so he teaches the band, and after each guy falls in line, he turns to the audience. He goes, how's it sounding? You know? And so we're all on Freddie's side, and the band is mortified They are not happy, you know. And they're wearing, they had like the kind of, you know, this is in the 80s, so the band has the frizzy hair, you know, the mullet kind of thing going on, and some kind of satiny, loose-looking 80s clothing, you know. and Freddy's up there. I think he's just got a T-shirt on and a pair of black jeans, and he's ready to rock. You know, he's got sunglasses on. He looks, you know, he looks like Lee Harvey Oswald up there or something. You know, he looks dangerous. You know, and
he's also making threats too. Yeah, like these people are going to learn rock and roll tonight.
Yeah, and then he finally has everybody playing, and he goes, "Oh baby, come on, let me tell you where the action is. Well, come on!" And it was great, and the audience goes berserk. And he does the rest of the set, and the band obeys. And I was like, and also he the way he slams the mic stand down, it's like what there's just an aggression to and hostility almost to a Freddie Cannon performance. And then I saw him again. Oh man, it's like 20 years later. I'm in L.A. and this punk band backed him up. And it was amazing. It was amazing. I forget the name of the band. They were like a Long Beach punk band backing up Freddie Cannon. So I figured I got to go to this, you know. Yeah. And I brought a record for him to sign this time. And at one point, he stops the show and goes, "You know, I want to dedicate this next song to my mother." And then he does Tallahassee Lassie. But if you listen to those early Freddie Cannon records, forget the guitars player's name, Kenny Paulson, I think, or somebody like that. The guitar player on that stuff is amazing. And there's one called Buzz Buzz a Diddle It, which is just a fantastic record. The weird thing, though, and this is kind of true with all oldies acts, when you go see the oldies act, there's one moment where they're doing a song that is not appropriate to their catalog. And and you're like, oh, really? You know, you're doing this song. Or they rearrange one of their old songs, you know, like when Neil Diamond would slow down "I'm a Believer" and turn it into something meaningful, you know. There's always that moment,
the words, yeah.
kind of like a cringeworthy moment where the oldies act, they got talked into it by their manager or promoter, or one of their kids told them or something. I don't know, you know, why this happens. But even Travis Womack, the great Muscle Shoals or Memphis crazy guitar player, put out all these really funky, wild instrumentals, kind of like the Memphis Link Ray. I went to see him play, and in the middle of the set, he played that funky music, White Boy, and he used a talk box, like the Peter Frampton talk box.
Like, sure, I guess you could do that.
Yeah. So each of these acts has that moment. And with Freddie Cannon, it was a cover of the Doors song, 20th Century Fox.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. She's a boom, boom, 20th Century Fox. She's a boom, boom. And there's Freddie Cannon laying it down, and I never understood why that happened. And it happened both times I saw him.
Well, then he must have just liked the song.
I guess. But Freddie Cannon, he's still cooking, still out there in his 80s, and I think he's still performing. He's done some stuff with Low Straitjackets, I know that. So he's around. And
I love to play his dedication song on the radio. It's like perfect for the radio. It's such a goofy, fun song.
Yeah. His records, awesome records.
It's that time of the show, time for a song. Let's see what comes out of the song hat.
I got the guitar here. I'm ready.
You are ready to go. Well,
I am. Yeah.
The song today is Feet.
Feet. Oh, that's a fairly new one. There are so many songs about the heart and the mind having this conversation with each other when it comes to love. And I'm a big fan of the songs where like a body part is addressed. You know? And so I wrote one myself called Feet. And let me put the capo on here. I have to adjust the microphone a little bit so you can also hear the guitar. Here we go. Feet. And it goes like this. Feet, stay right there. Don't you dare go nowhere. Feet, stay right there. Feet,
Don't walk away, it's time to stay and face what comes our way. Feet, feet, don't walk away. This time the heart says go, so feet forget everything you know, even though we've been hurt before. Don't head for that door. Love is here right now, so feet, please try somehow. Feet, feet, don't fail me now. Stay right there, don't you dare go nowhere. Feet, feet, stay right there, don't go nowhere. Don't take the stairs, stay right there.
You have just enjoyed another installment of Straight from the Hat with Ben Vaughn. To learn more about the names drawn from the hat for this episode, please visit straightfromthehat.com. Don't forget to tell a friend about this podcast. And please, subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice.